everyone, it's Karin, and I'm here today to tell you about some of the new features in Procreate version 4.2, and I'm going to show you how you can use some of those features to create really cool planner stickers. So to get started, I'm going to do all of this in Procreate. So obviously, because I'm talking about Procreate version 4.2 here, but you know. So I'm going to pull up Procreate, and I am going to start a new document. Now, if you want to, you can work with a blank canvas, but I'm going to actually pull in a page from the Glamour Planner because I want to make a sticker that is specifically made to fit the Glamour Planner. So I'm just going to pull in one of those pages from my Dropbox. And I'm not really going to go into talking about this planner at all, but I will say if this planner looks like something you might be interested in, I will have a link to this planner in the video description. Okay, so I've got this pulled up. And now I want to create a sticker for one of these boxes. So the way that I'm going to do that is by using the new Shapes feature. I'm so excited about this. Shapes have been widely requested in Procreate for a really long time. So they have found a way to implement shapes while still giving off a hand-drawn feel to them. So they're not perfect shapes like you would get in Graphic or like you would get in Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. They're still going to be hand-drawn, but they just look a little bit more refined. So I'm going to show you how they work while simultaneously creating a planner sticker. So first, I'm just going to create a new layer. And I already have my signature brush selected because that's what I want to use. And I've got black selected, which is what I prefer to use when drawing a shape. So now I'm just going to freehand a rectangle. And I'm going to get it as close as I can to this box. So I'm drawing this rectangle and, you know, it's far from perfect. And once I get to this edge where the corners connect, I'm going to press and hold. And did you see how it changed into a more perfect rectangle? And see how it's still hand drawn, like it's still kind of got that funky edge right there and everything, but I think it looks really cool. So now, after you've pressed and hold, before you do anything else, you'll see up here, this drops down that says Edit Shape. So I'm going to click on Edit Shape. And you'll see that it says quadrilateral, rectangle, or polyline, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm probably mispronouncing it knowing me, but who knows. So you can choose between those three things. So here's the rectangle, and you'll see that that shifted it more towards a standard rectangle. And here's the polyline, which I guess, I might be wrong again. It looks like it's wider at the top and more narrow at the bottom just slightly. So I don't know. But no matter what you select, like I can select rectangle right here. If I want to adjust the size, it switches back to quadrilateral. So I'm good with quadrilateral since I want to be able to adjust my rectangle. And then after I adjust the size, I'm going to switch back to rectangle and see what happens. Okay, so that's a pretty good size without touching the line. So now I'm going to switch back to rectangle. Oh, it shrunk it down. I'm going to undo that. And I'm good with the way things look right here. If you wanted to make sure your rectangle was more proportional, you could always go up here to your wrench tool, go to canvas, and turn on your drawing guides, and then shrink those down a little bit. Okay, so mine is not even. But if you wanted to make it even from the start, you could always turn on your drawing guides before you draw the shape. But I like this hand-drawn look, so that's what I'm going for. So that's perfect for me. So now I'm going to fill the shape by taking my color dot up here and dragging it. And now the shape is filled. Okay, so now I've got a good size for my rectangle shape. And I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can turn it into a really cool sticker. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is the new clipping mask feature. So previously I've had a video, I released it a few months ago, that shows you how you can overlay your lettering or images with the texture. So this will do the same thing, but it will skip a step. And by same thing, I mean it will easily let you apply this texture to your shape or lettering. But this way is a little bit less permanent than the way that I show you in my other video. And I'll link to that other video in the video description because that's still a cool technique for Procreate. But this is just another way to do it. So clipping masks have been around for a long time in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and stuff like that, but never on Procreate. So in order to do the clipping mask, you want to make sure that the texture or image that you want to use to apply to your shape or lettering is directly over the layer that you're going to be applying that texture to. So I'm just going to pull in a texture from Blog Pixie. So I'm going to pull it in from my Dropbox, and I will link to this texture pack in the video description. Okay, so we're going to go with this Mystic Gem texture right here. I think that's really pretty. So I'm going to click on that to bring it in. And now I want to just lay it over my shape. So I think this whole texture is pretty, so I don't really mind which texture I get in my shape. But if there's a specific area of the pattern or image that you want in your shape, one way you can tell what you're going to overlay it with is by briefly moving your shape or lettering layer up and then hitting this in and adjusting the opacity. And then you can move the shape to exactly where you want it to be on your texture or your image, and then move it back beneath the texture. So now that you've done that, we want to go back to the end and make the opacity 100% again. And now we're going to come up here to the texture, and we're just going to click on Clipping Mask. And see how that just takes the shape of the box, but it didn't erase the entire image like my other technique does. This just makes it a clipping mask. So actually, if you ever want to undo it and still use that image, you can just click on it again, click on Clipping Mask, and it will remove the clipping mask and you'll have the whole image again. So I'm going to make it a clipping mask again. And what I like to do, I've always done this in Photoshop and Illustrator. I'm going to do it here. Whenever I've created a clipping mask for a certain font or lettering or image or whatever, I like to group them together so they don't accidentally get separated. So to do that, I already have my texture selected. So now I'm just going to swipe towards the right on my shape, and I'm going to click on Group. And so now they're a group and they won't get separated. So now the only thing about this, I feel like the only downfall to clipping mask, when you want to select that group, it selects the whole image even though you can't see the whole image. So if you just want to move the rectangle on its own and you move it, can you see how, like, as I'm moving it along the texture, it's moving what you see of the texture? So I'm going to reset it. If you have grouped them and you're really happy with the image and you don't think you're going to need your texture again in its entirety, once you have grouped the clipping mask and the image, you can flatten the group. So I will show you how to do that. First, I need to duplicate this layer and move it up. So once you've grouped them, to flatten the shape with the clipping mask, you're just going to click on Group and then click on it again and then click on Flatten. And now it's just your box. So that's one way that you can make a sticker with a really cool pattern. And of course, if you wanted to save it, all you would have to do is hide your background color and hide any other objects that you have on the page. And then come to your wrench, tool, click on Share and click on PNG and click on Save Image. And it is going to save it as an image with a transparent background. Now, I want to show you something else really cool that I've recently learned. You can actually just drag this into GoodNotes without having to save it to your camera roll or to your files. And it's really cool. So I learned this in another digital planning group on Facebook, and I just think it's so awesome. So I'm going to pull up GoodNotes by going to my home screen and pulling up GoodNotes. And now I'm going to pull up my Glamour Planner. Okay, so here's my weekly November page in my Glamour Planner. Now I'm pulling up my dashboard while I'm still in GoodNotes, and I'm going to pull Procreate to the side. And so now they're side by side. So the way that you can move this into GoodNotes, you just want to press and hold on the layer that you want to drag, and then drag it directly into GoodNotes. And look at that. The only thing, though, is it brings in the entire canvas size rather than just the sticker itself. So to do that, that's easy to fix. Let me zoom out. let me get rid of Procreate. So all I'm going to do now to crop this is I'm going to select my lasso tool. I'm going to click on my image and I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to click on it again and then click on crop. And now I can do a rectangle crop around this sticker so it's not the entire canvas size. And now I just had this sticker and, you know, I made it to fit these boxes. So, well, slightly fit these boxes. It's not meant to fill the boxes. I'm at a weird angle, so I can't really see what I'm doing. But there it is. Okay, so that's one sticker. So another way that you can create a sticker, I'm going to be using a technique with the Liquify feature. So Liquify has been around in Procreate. I never really used it that much before. I think I used it a handful of times, but they have significantly improved it. So I'm going to show you a really cool technique that I learned from Karin at iPad Lettering. She's amazing. You need to find her on Instagram. I'm obsessed with her Instagram. I've taken several of the classes that she offers on Procreate, and I just think that she's awesome. So I'm going to link to her Instagram and her YouTube channel because she's like a Procreate genius and she's so artistic. I could go on and on about how much I love her work. So I have learned this technique from her. She posted a little short tutorial on Instagram, and I'm just going to show you because it's going to be a really cool way to make these planner stickers. So first I'm going to delete what we just created, and I'm going to bring my calendar back in. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't really need my calendar right now, but I am going to bring my shape back in for now, and then I'm going to create a new layer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint a bunch of colors on the screen. So I'm going to use some watercolor brushes from Hewitt Avenue. You can get these on Creative Market. They're insanely nice. Like, I just think they're really good brushes. And you can buy these packs separately, or you can buy like a complete bundle pack and you get some color palettes and everything. So I just bought the bundle pack, which I will link to. So I'm going to select this base 3 watercolor monoline brush, and then I'm going to just select a pretty color. So my favorite color is pink. I'm going to switch my pink color palette. So I'm just going to start with a darker pink. And on this new layer, I'm just going to fill the whole canvas with this texture. I've used these brushes before, so I already know that this has a really pretty watercolor texture. It's almost like a really cool pattern when you color with it. So you can use this for lettering too. It's a very versatile brush. So now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to eventually merge these layers, but I like to create a new layer to make sure I'm happy with the color scheme before I commit to merging the layers. So now I'm going to select a slightly lighter shade of pink, maybe this pink, and I'm going to select a different brush. Let's try this color wash brush 4. It's in the same pack. And that's just kind of adding some light areas, maybe up the opacity a little bit. So now I'm going to select a different brush, maybe this watercolor hard edge. Let's try that out. And a new layer. And let me try this pink and see what happens. So one more layer. I'm going to select this really, really light shade of pink. It's almost white. And then I'm going to do, let's do this color wash brush 3. So I do think the look of this is good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all these layers. You can do that a few different ways. I'm just going to click on each layer and click on merge down until all 4 of my color layers are merged. So now I am going to use my Liquify feature. So I'm going to go to my adjustments over here, and I'm going to go to Liquify. So down here, push is the one that's automatically selected. So you can use that, or you can use expand. I really like the look of expand. So I'm going to go to expand. And if your size, pressure, distortion, and momentum down here are not all 100%, you can go ahead and move them all the way up to 100%. It just gives the coolest effect. So now with that selected, I'm just going to do this and move some colors around. And look how amazing that looks. It looks like a poured painting. And so Karin gives a much more detailed tutorial on this. So I will link to her video about the new features in 4.2 so you can see hers. Hers is much better than what I'm doing right now. Okay, so now after I've done the expand, I'm going to come to push. And some of these patterns that I really like, I can kind of push more up onto the canvas. And it's just creating this really amazing effect. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Okay, so I'm liking the look of this, so I'm going to go ahead and just click my arrow and then click it again. And this is what my canvas looks like now. And I actually love this so much that I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it because I don't want to lose that. And I'm going to hide my duplication. Okay, so now, again, if I wanted to make this into a sticker, I would briefly move layer number 2 on top, which is my shape, go to the end and then adjust the opacity and then find the area that I like the best, which I'm really liking this area right here. Okay, so now I'm going to move it back down and then bring the opacity back up to 100%. Now, instead of doing a clipping mask, just because I don't really want to do a clipping mask, I'm going to do my old technique on filling a shape with a texture. And so to do that, my layer is already selected, so I'm just going to click on it again, click on select, and then I'm going to come down here and click on invert selection. And then I'm going to come to this paint layer and click on it twice and then click on clear. So now just this is my sticker right here. I can save this with a transparent background by turning off all of my other layers, which I've already done. And now I can pull up GoodNotes and bring it in as an image from my camera roll. Okay, so here it is. Again, it brought in the whole canvas size, so I'm just going to click on it, click on crop, and then do a rectangle crop. If I wanted to meet those edges, I could, but I don't want it to be a perfect rectangle. I want it to look hand-drawn. So there it is. And now I've got this beautiful sticker right here. So those are 2 really pretty stickers. My last idea for creating a sticker is to implement fonts and the graphics app and the shapes feature from Procreate and the clipping mask. So let me show you that. So I need to duplicate this rectangle right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the one that I just made, and I am going to turn my black rectangle back on, and I'm going to duplicate it. So now, let's see. I'm just going to make this a light pink color that matches the Glamour Planner. Where's my pink color palette? Here it is. Okay, so I dragged and dropped the dot to make it a light pink color. So now I want to fit some text on top of it. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to create a new layer directly on top of it. And now I'm going to go into the graphic app. So the font that I want to use, I already have it installed on my iPad. If you're not sure how to do that, I will link to a separate tutorial for that in the video description. It's super simple. And I'm going to be using a font called Ink Bandits. And I'll link to this font in the video description as well. So I've hit the plus sign to create a new document, and I'm going to click on screen size because I just like to work in screen size. And now I'm going to click on blank. And which blank was already selected, but I clicked on it anyway. And now I'm going to click on create. So now I've got to click on that canvas from the menu to open it. So now I'm going to select my type tool, which is right here. And it says double tap to edit. So I'm going to double tap. And I am going to select the font that I want, which, like I was saying, is called Ink Bandits. So now I am going to just type best day ever. And I'm going to put it on 3 separate lines. So I'm hitting return after each word. Okay, I just clicked off of the text area because I want to see what it looks like. But I need to edit this a little bit. I definitely want my lines to be closer together. So I'm just going to double click the text box like that. And then I'm going to press and hold and then let go. And then select all right there. So now right here, where it has the A with this line right next to it, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to just click the minus sign until I'm happy with the spacing between lines. And that looks good to me. So now I'm going to click off of this again, and I'm going to copy and paste this into Procreate. So to do that, I'm going to select this paperclip right here and select copy. If you've watched my channel before and you've watched my tutorials, I'm sure you already know how to do this. So I've done that. I've selected copy. So now I'm going to go back into Procreate, and I'm going to make sure I'm on the new layer that's directly above my sticker. And then I'm going to 3-finger swipe and click on paste. So I pasted it down here. I'm zoomed in so you can't see it. So now I can bring this up And my selection tool is already on. You can already see that this is selected. It has that moving box around it. So I'm going to click on magnetics to keep it proportional. And then I'm just going to drag the corner. And that looks pretty good to me. So I can keep the text black if I want to, but I think it would look good with a gold foil effect. I may be wrong. We'll see. But I am going to bring in a gold foil texture from Blog Pixie that will be in the same texture pack that I used earlier for that first sticker that we made. So let me bring that in from Dropbox. And I'm going to bring in this coffee cream texture. I love this texture for lettering. It just looks really, really cool. Okay, so it brought in that texture. And again, this is one where I'm just happy with any area of it, so I'm not going to spend time adjusting it or anything. And now I'm just going to click on the texture. It's directly above my text layer, which is what I want. So I'm going to click on the texture and click on clipping mask. And yeah, I love the look of that. So when I zoom in, you'll see it's just completely gold, but it is still a clipping mask, so I can't delete that regular layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these layers like I showed you before and then flatten them because I don't want to change anything about this. And now I can merge this layer down with my pink box and I've got yet another sticker. So I'm going to save this sticker and I am going to bring this into GoodNotes. How cool is that? So I just created really cute stickers, 3 really cute stickers. It took me probably twice as long as it normally would just because I was explaining the whole process, but this is just a really quick and really simple way to create unique and original stickers. So I hope that gave you guys some ideas. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions and I'm happy to help. If you want to see my thoughts on this iPad and the new Apple Pencil, I will link to my video on that in the video description. It's kind of a chaotic video because I was so excited. And so, you know, you've been warned. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more digital planning tutorials, Procreate tutorials, and digital plan with me videos. And check out my website, naptimealt.com, where there's tons of planner-related freebies that you can download now.